Hey, 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 welcome to the Scorpio channel. My name's Laura, if you're new to the channel. I just want you to know that there is a hurricane going on outside. So if the internet gets sketchy, understand that that's what's going on. It's mayhem. A piece of tree fell down on my husband's car like a week or two ago, and I thought that it passed. This is like the outer bounds. We're getting the outer bounds. It's crazy. Anyway, um, it's very turbulent out there, so maybe that's going to tie in somehow to the reading. I always like to tie things in together. And then I also had something else happen. And I just like to put it out there because, again, we always like to see the signs and the synchronicities, right? Um, that somebody I'm working with someone that keeps trying to push me to do what they want me to do. And it's really like triggering me. Hey, no, Novelina. I think I said your name right. Anyway, so I feel like there's energy like that also. Like somebody is like trying to get you to do what they want you to do, but they're trying to do it like sneaky, like they think that they're slick, which is really irritating. It's really irritating. Hey, I don't want Swivlana. That's a Russian name. Did I say it right? If I didn't, my apologies. I'm gonna do a message for my winner, and then I always like to do channeled messages after. So if anybody has questions, you can stick around and I will answer them. Hey, Ruth. So those of you that are new to my channel, which I don't really feel like is anyone yet, but if you wind up landing on this after I record it, I like to do shadow readings. So I do look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes. And the reason why is because there's many different realities that play it at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on what you do, and those are based on really your core beliefs. So it's really based on your core beliefs. And when we get stuck in a karmic cycle, it's just like this is the same thing that's happened before. I've done this before. I've been here before. And it's one that keeps you in a place of disempowerment, one of fear. So, again, being that there's many different realities that play out, even if you're with a karmic mate, not all the time do you receive negative karmic retribution. Sometimes the karmic mate gets it, but however, we tend to associate, oh God, it's going to be pain and suffering from her, for me because, again, I've been here before. I know what's going to happen. Again, you're stuck in a pattern. That's what that means. So just because they're healing style readings without you implementing the grounding work, you're not going to change anything because you're your own healer. I'm just a conduit for spirit to speak. So all readings are, like I said, channeled, but I do throw cards every now and again. No, because again, that's just the way I work. But we're doing a reading for my winner, and again, I don't like to say the name just because sometimes people want it more private. And again, these are shadow readings. So we're going to see what the energy of the reading is going to be. It's going to be lies and illusions. So obviously you thought that you were getting involved with somebody that I wasn't as wounded, right? I mean, what is it when we see somebody that we perceive to be have their life together, right? That they look good, they may drive a nice car, they look like they can pay their rent. They look like you go through the list of, okay, you can take care of yourself and you are, we have a connection. And so this person, I think, felt like you were naive, to be honest with you, because you were giving them a lot of time and you were being very nice. And you might be like, what's wrong with being nice? Well, people that are really busy and have a lot going on in their life, it's not that they're not nice. They're polite and they're cordial, but they tend to be short. Like they don't give a lot of time. Why? Because if they're people that really love themselves, they're having a good time in their life. They're invested in their life. If they're doing something, they're not codependent towards one person, like being at their beck and call and being nice, and because that's a sign saying like, I want this back in return, right? Which you would say, obviously that's why I'm doing it. But spirit says no, it's to assume that a person will automatically do it, but it's to volunteer and to be in your community, to invest in your community. So if there's a cause, or if there's a fundraiser, something to raise money for women or for men or whatever, for a cause, that people do stuff like that, where when they feel good about themselves, they don't tend to like give somebody so much time and attention. I feel like you were connected to somebody that of course came out of a bad relationship, and they pretended to be a lot more wounded, but really they're the person that created all the wounds in their previous relationship, hoping that here you're going to give them more, because that's what people normally do, and they can sense them out by how person's sensitive, whether they're nice, how much you care, how much time, energy, focus you're giving that person. You gave too much, and then again this person lied, and that's what you say when you said, but there was a connection. And so again, there was a connection, obviously, because the person wouldn't have wanted to get anything at all from you, not your time, not energy, not even for you to feed their ego. If they didn't have some sort of anything towards you, like you're attractive. I like the fact that an attractive person is giving me attention. That's again, this person tends to withdraw. They're a runner. So they're not emotionally intelligent. The thing is, every time you try to get deep with this person, and that's a telltale sign. When a person has intimacy issues, intimacy is trust. And so they'll be very focused on the physical aspect of the relationship. So you don't think that they have an intimacy problem, but they have an intimacy problem when it comes to trust. So if you get close and you want to talk about something deep where your emotions are involved, well, then this person like doesn't do that, which makes you feel like they're either talking to other people, or they don't care as much. Yeah, like they're always in search for somebody else, always looking for someone, and distracted. But I understand, if you are not emotionally intelligent, you're always coming from the logical, analytical mind, and this person doesn't have good relationships. So, they do one and one is two, and of course they don't think that they can have a better relationship. So if I get deep, what's going to happen is I'm the one that's going to get attached. I'm the one that's going to get attached. You're not going to like what you see, because I don't like what I see. So why would you like it? And then you're only going to leave. So again, I don't like myself. People create lies and illusions to create the facade of who they want you to think that they are, not really who they are. People that are really who they are, they're walking it. They're walking it. They're not pretending. You can see it. And so what this person does is they tend to, I can't stand this. I've been getting this a lot. Like, tend to give too much time to people in their life instead of their own life. And a person that's a martyr, they sacrifice their needs to rescue other people because they're wounded. And so they don't, when they don't look at their own emotions and their own feelings, and here it is, you're like, I want to have a deep connection with you. And this person doesn't even look at their own shit. It's like, but that's the thing. When you see a martyr, that's a person that they can feel good about themselves. They can lie and say, I see I'm a good person because I'm sacrificing myself. No, you're avoidant. That's what you're doing. Not you, but them. They're avoidant. And again, here it is. You're like, I'm a deep person. I'm a deep person. I want to connect emotionally, and this person is like, I have a connection to you, but I don't know about I don't know about all that. I'm gonna pull one more card. Like it's too much. If anything, it's when they do, they get angry because they've been victimized or they feel like they've been victimized. But if you emotionally never get close to a person, then your character isn't good. You don't really care about the other person. You care about them from a surface level, and that's what tends to happen with this person. They get involved, and then all of a sudden person wants to get close, and then they're like, oh my god, I can't take it, and they run. But then you wanted all that, physical, and that way you told me all these things. So they create attachments, which is now the continuous runner chaser. So here you come along, and unless you're going to be the runner, this person doesn't actually feel like you care enough about them, which is the irony because they don't really want that. So that's why energetically they're still attached to you. Because it's like, I don't want to form the attachment because I hate the attachment because I have crazy people that want me to be their life, that I'm their entertainment. Like I'm just their sex toy, really, at the end of the day, because that's really, they came in being all passionate. So it's everything that could be, but not really is, because this person doesn't do it. So they wind up with people that say, you're going to be this way, you're going to, like, are controlling, but they do it at first, obviously, in a very manipulative way where you don't know that they're doing it because they're not emotionally intelligent. That's why you say, how do they not see it? They're not emotionally intelligent. If I'm only coming from the surface, then I'm really only concerned about myself. Then I really only talk about myself. It kind of seems like a little bit narcissistic. But understand that's what wounded people are. But wounded people like that are narcissistic, are ruled by anger. And they're ruled by anger because my life looks like fucking shit. So you want to come into my life and you want me to go deep with you, and my life looks like shit. It's like, this is what this person is like thinking in their mind. And you're like, well, I don't see that. I don't see that. Yeah, it takes 24/7, like, of this person's energy to create the lies and the illusions that you're believing, and so is everybody else. But then it cuts them off from being able to really have intimate relationships, which is, again, still have to get their emotional needs met somewhere. And giving and being a martyr is kind of like it's counterfeit. It's a counterfeit of, like, charity. That's what it is. I can feel good because of that. And these fell out. So this person didn't, it's not like they didn't have a connection to you, but it looked like, again, they stonewalled you because you were not acting the way that this person would have feel good. And I know that because these are your triggers. And it's like stonewall. Like, you're like, it triggers me deeply when I am stonewalled. Silence killed the connection for me. Like, you're like gonna sit there and ignore me, pull back. And again, I feel like you took it like, you don't, you're trying to make me feel like I'm not worth it. No, this person doesn't feel like they're worth it. So, and they don't, like you said, they're kind of, when they're around, they're kind of thinking all about themselves, and then like a narcissist, because they're not evolved. They don't mean to be a narcissist, but they're wounded. They're not emotionally intelligent. They withdraw. But it shows that they're not really a bad person, because otherwise they wouldn't be like, well, I'm going to sacrifice to try and make myself feel good. It's a avoidance style where this person actually doesn't feel good about themselves. They don't feel worthy of love on a deep level. And that's why they're angry, because they're like, obviously, I'm the main common denominator that happens in everything. Maybe that just doesn't happen for me. It's like, but it's really, you're like, yeah, but you're dishonest. It's like, you're dishonest. Yeah, this person lies because they can't let people come in close to, you're going to see the lies and the illusions, the fake facade of my life. It's like, so yes, I lied. I lied all the time. I lie about who I am. I lie about everything. If I show you who I am, you're not going to like me. Like, I wouldn't stick around for me. And that's the problem. This person, because they don't love themselves, they don't like who they are, it's triggering you. They can't give you, even though there's a spiritual connection. They don't even know what to do with that spiritual connection because they're not evolved. Guilty. Yeah, like it's like this person feels guilty because they didn't really know how. If you want to know how they feel, it's not that they don't think about it, but it's like, how can I let you in and show, and like that would require vulnerability. Person can't be vulnerable if they are not emotionally intelligent. Again, I'm not going to be emotionally intelligent because at one time I got hurt. So when a person's like that, let's go deep and say, well, what did they think of the relationship? They're going to do anything at all. They just, because listen, this person wouldn't, if they didn't care, they wouldn't feel guilty. And if they were a bad, really bad person, they wouldn't be a martyr. So we see a very wounded person here. We see a person here that every time you want to go deep, they don't really know how to do that. They're afraid to do that. So that tells me that there's deep trauma. So it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. Doesn't also mean that you need to run into a relationship with this person until you know how to deal with the person. Spirit, the universe brings us people that can heal. Karmic means there's an opportunity to learn here. Not always does it have to go to shit. It goes to shit if you're out of balance and this person's out of balance. If this person's out of balance and you're not balanced, where you're not giving yourself love and giving yourself more and treating yourself in a certain way and holding to a certain standard, well, then yeah, the person's karmic and they're going to fuck your life up. But if you do, they can't do that. They don't have that power. That's why I'm saying it's like, no, as you surrender your 3D expectations, I surrender to our 5D connection. See, that's what I'm saying. They don't know what to do with the spiritual connection, but what they're saying is, you think I'm somebody else. You have expectations of me. I can't let you in here. It's like if I let you in, it's like a person that pretends that they have a mansion. Like I saw this thing on TikTok where a person pretended they're an influencer and they're living in a mansion, and they are, but they're living in a closet in someone's mansion, and then they had their date pick them up, and the person literally had a blow up mattress. Like it wasn't a mattress, it was a raft. Like I was asleep, and the guy was like, this is where you live. You have millions of followers. And she's like, yeah, but like, it's like the facade. This is my life. But if you come in here, you're going to see how ridiculous this looks. And you'd be like, what the fuck? And that's why they're like, yeah, we have a spiritual connection, but what can I do with that if I already know that you're not going to like what you see? That's the problem when you lie. That's the problem when you lie. I feel insecure and it's pushing me to grow. And that's what I said. Not all the time. Like if you hold your ground, so you actually not talking to this person, like because and not just giving in, which is understand, yeah, this person wanted you to give in. They still wanted what they wanted. They just didn't want to do what they should have done from an ethical manner. They wanted it to be like one-sided. Obviously I'm going to take some from you, but since relationships don't really work out for me, we'll just keep it on the surface. And when I'm done, then I'll be done. But that's not what happened, because you walked away, and now they're like, again, they have feelings. You can't control feelings. So you can, and if you're not emotionally intelligent and you're continually suppressing your emotions, well, it's funny how the emotions tend to keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. And really that's why this person is also ruled by anger, because it's annoying them that they're thinking about it. It's annoying that they're hooked. It's annoying them that it's like you don't seem like you're hooked. Because again, you're not giving them anything. So again, pushing them to grow, and that's what Spirit said. It's like that's what relationships are supposed to do. It's again, we wouldn't change. That's why it said, I know that this person cares. It's that you're making them go deep, and they're like, it's like almost like a person that watched someone drown and they don't know how to swim themselves, and you're teaching them how to swim. They put in their toe in, they're like, I don't, because you're making them go deep. And that's what I feel like. Like it's scary for me. It's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. Why am I doing this? It's they have to fight the ego, which is telling them, hold back. Don't give them. Make this person work for it. Make this person what they used to tell themselves. They used to make them feel good. Now they feel guilty because you can't control love. Your anger was ruling you. But what is anger? Anger doesn't last forever. Like you get angry all the time at your children, at your friend, at your parents. Fuck you, I hate you. And then 5 minutes later, so we go on to dinner. Oh, it's like it doesn't mean anything. And that's what this person didn't get. Yeah, I'm telling you, because of the passion. It's like the spiritual energy. And I'm telling you the truth. It's like I want to hold you in my arms and feel our bodies unite as one. And like I told you, that's the thing. It's like passion. Because how do we transmute spiritual blocks? Now, we didn't even get to your blocks, but we see a shitload of blocks on this person's side. And so that is through the passion, through fire. That's how. Otherwise, we wouldn't stick around long enough to learn. Who cares? I don't want to learn that lesson. I don't want to go deep. I'll stay on the surface. I'll be dishonest. I don't care. It's safer. It's safer for me. I've been giving my power away to people in my life. I'm learning to set boundaries. So that once was being a martyr and giving up their time, now it's like they're being controlled. And that's what happens too. You give of your time to friends, you overgive. And when you overgive, is it appreciated? No, it's expected. And so it just winds up keeping this person in a place of, I feel like shit about myself. And the thing is, they were a martyr to make themselves feel better about themselves. So the dynamic of what's happening, and with, again, the universe knows it's like you're being counterfeit. That's why it's pushing you to grow. Those people don't appreciate it. You're just avoiding your life. You're avoiding to doing the work because they're afraid. Because they're basing their life on the past, not in the moment. I've hurt you and I'm sorry. I hope you can forgive me someday and understand I was reacting from fear. Like I told you, this person feels guilty. It's making them go deep. Are they volunteering? No. This is never a voluntary, like people, oh yeah, they just volunteer. No. It's like kicking and screaming, avoiding, running, doing everything, and then finally, because Spirit says, well, I'll wait. You can do all that. You can drink yourself into oblivion, fuck 1,000 different people. Go ahead. I'll wait. Eventually you're going to wind up right back where I tell you to be, because I'm love and you can't manipulate me. You can't manipulate me. You can't destroy me. You found me in many, many lifetimes. It's like you can do it, but I'll wait because you think that you can, because that ego is strong because of the trauma that you went through. So, and that's why this person's finally, it's like, why is it taking so long? It's like, that's why. It's like, because there's a lot there. Oh, the person lies about their life. That alone. And then actually having to be vulnerable. This person would like create a mask, comes across as like, they're macho, like they don't care, We incarnated together to clear specific patterns from our ancestral bloodline. And that's what I'm saying. It's like the spiritual blocks that we inherit obviously like winds up coming out within our inner child wounds, and then they're old. They're old. We actually feel that we're a part of them when we inherit our ancestral trauma. And ancestral trauma, you got to realize, like 700 generations it goes back. That's what it says in the Bible. I don't know if we inherit 700 generations. So think about what was going on the planet 700 years ago. Think about what they did to people 700 years ago. I mean, they were barbaric. They were barbaric, and the trauma you don't even know. It's so people's behaviorisms, and those behaviorisms and habits are passed down. So I feel like this person did have addiction, like you said, in order to stay at that energy level. You would have to. It's like I'm suppressing myself. I'm suppressing my emotions. It's like I'm in full control. I can control, and that's the second chakra imbalance. That again, person then doesn't have an identity because they're too busy creating facades. And that's because I grew up in an environment that just there was trauma, bad relationships, alcoholism, drugs, whatever it is. It's like, but it's root chakra imbalance. It's major root chakra imbalance. It's um, bad, bad codependent trauma bond relationships being born into that, like alcohol, drugs, one parent, never home, raising yourself, like just real root chakra imbalances, even sexual assault, like it would be in the same lines as that, right? This person is like, I don't feel strong within myself. I don't know. And so this person knows as when they will surrender their ego, it's like that you guys will be together. They feel like it because there's a part of them that sees the signs and the synchronicities everywhere. 1111. It's like they're not a spiritual person. However, if you notice, this connection is moving them more into becoming spiritual because they couldn't control it. They can't control it. So they're being forced to surrender. And that's really how we gain balance. This person was really out of balance. They were getting angry because they were trying to control everything and suppress everything. Where really spirit's like, you can't do that. You'll wind up like getting very sick. So that's what, if you want to know what this person feels, please don't give up on me. I'm trying to change, but it takes time. So it's like when. It's like this person is in their healing process, I would say. And so there's a part of you that just needs to like continue to keep on your like cutting the energy off. And it's because you're making this person think about you. And it's because they tend to be somebody that only thinks about them, which is a survival mechanism, by the way. It's not that this person means to be selfish. It's that, the trauma of what they've gone through. And so, yeah, they are dishonest, but they're dishonest for those reasons. So I just feel like I feel our energy merging together as if it has a life of its own. We are becoming one again. And that's like, this person is like, because they're like, I can't control it. It's like, this is what it is. I still feel your energy. It's like, no matter what I do, it's like I ran, I suppressed it, I did everything. I'm still not 100% surrendered to it. Like when your expectations of me, of who you want me to be. And that's probably when I feel like you give up on me. Then I'm going to come in and then I'm going to offer you something because then you have no expectation of me. And so then I feel like maybe you'll like this version of me. And spirit says, like, if that's the way that you got to do it, which is still kind of like, I'm not going to come back and apologize and still show you everything because that's embarrassing. That I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to heal. And spirit says, well, that's good enough as long as you evolve. And again, try to like be like a better person, a real person. When I let myself go deeper into thought of you, I can feel my heart opening. See, that's the thing. This person's heart is closed. And that's what really Spirit's saying. The relationship is that. It's that the ancestral trauma that when we grow up in a very traumatic, we close our heart at a very young age because we don't feel safe. We can't be vulnerable. It doesn't feel safe to feel those emotions. And so what has happened is that this person has learned to navigate their life through being shady. I still want love. It's not like it's still I'm still a human being, still want love. However, um like I don't trust that you'll stick around because of my flaws, and you're not going to like what you see because I don't like what I see. So I've designed this whole illusion, but it's like a paper house. You know what I mean? You're going to go in and you're going to be like, oh, it rained out. Oh, what happened to the roof? Like there's no, it's not real. It's a facade. So you won't like me. So this is forcing this person to get an identity. And that's what happens when people have trauma. Shadows are that. You're not your pain. You're not your wounds. You're not defective. You're that's a part of you that is just not developed because you were in survival. And that's what happened with this person. So and what we see here is that the universe saying, well, I gotta intervene. I gotta intervene because the person doesn't know what the fuck that they're doing. I gotta intervene. And so I'm gonna control it, but they're gonna fight me on it. But the universe says I don't like they're no match for me. Trust me. And so that person again surrenders their ego. It's again that's how they people heal. People don't volunteer to do healing. They just don't do it. I miss you. Let's both stop running away. Like it's again, you're like, listen, I'm not running anywhere, bitch. You gotta like fix yourself. And then spirit says, well, let's see what dealing with this person, let's see what wounds it pulled out of you. Because God says the universe is God, by the way, which is unconditional love, which is the energy inside of you, which is when we're perfect and whole and balanced, that's what we're supposed to be, the energy of unconditional love. However, we get imbalanced because of what we see, what we're taught, what we perceive. So again, we have our own thoughts of certain things, but we get out of balance, and we don't really know that we're even out of balance. So understand, spirit says, well, I didn't just bring this person in for their healing. You had healing too, but it probably triggered the shit out of you to deal with this person. If you're wounded in abandonment, if you're wounded with somebody that has never emotionally given to you, you're like, yeah, that's my theme. It's like I wind up with an emotionally retarded person. Like they instead of showing me that they care because they love me, they treat me like shit. It's like they do a psychological reversal. And that's what that is, self-sabotaging behavior. That's what this person does because they don't like themselves. They form that. And you're like, yeah, I always get that. And spirit says, let's see why you get that. Nurture, card number 1. Rage, card number 2. Time and attention, card number 3. Innocence, card number 4. Isolation, number 5. And shame, ugh, card number 6. Well, whenever you have shame, I feel like, and rage, rage, these are root chakra imbalance, and isolation tells me that you didn't get the time and attention. You didn't get the time and attention and the nurturing that you needed when you were young, right? So you were taught the harsher truths in life, that you also grew up with, imbalance. Okay, we'll put it like that. Doesn't matter if it was as bad as this person's. It's still, there's only 2 energies, love and fear. And you grew up in an environment where you didn't get the nurturance, and shame is, made to, feel bad about yourself. And when children are shamed, they're made to feel like, again, that there's something wrong with them. And obviously, again, angry. And what tells me this, again, the time and attention that you didn't get, because when a child goes through something and they don't have the love and the support and the guidance, what they do is they go into isolation. And so and that's also what a person does when they feel shame. They go into isolation. And what the underlying energy really is over time is anger, because if you also feel inadequate because you're not shame, and but also feeling like, well, I'm not lovable, because I was shamed, didn't get the nurturing that I needed. And so, again, it mirrors it mirrors what this person kind of did, and it brings out that energy. But we also see that you're a mirror of whom what comes into your life. So you, like this person, hold on to these heavy energies. So I feel like this is very twin flame energy, this whole story, but from a very spiritual perspective. Because why do we have twin flames energy? And what we saw, you have rage, the other person has anger. There's a lot of fire there. There's a lot of fire. Well, it's, again, if you're shamed from such a young age, and then you go out into the world, then other people, even as children, you're still manifesting. So you remember being made to feel bad in other instances, carrying that energy, and then feeling inadequate. The spirit says you're not inadequate. That's a shadow. So you might not have created the whole facade and lived like this and have done a lot more spiritual work, but you can identify, because the twin flame soulmate relationship is usually that. It's like, I relate because I grew up this similar. I relate because I was made to feel the same way. It's the common interest. Doesn't mean that the person handles the situation the same way you do. No, you're emotional intelligent. This person's not. They bring other things to the table. It's, again, and it's not one that this person, twin flame soulmate connection, you have no control over. You don't want to stay in it. There's a runner chaser dynamic because it makes you go deep, and the wounds are deep. So you're like, no, I don't want to go because I'm going to get stuck in it. And that's what we saw with this person. That's why I'm saying, so they didn't give you the time and attention. They did bring that out in you. They brought out all those. So it was very triggering to be with this person, because you're like, you're making me feel as if there's something wrong with me. And spirit always says, well, that's the key. The universe, which spirit says, no one should be able to make you feel that way. You feel that way because that was inside of you long before this person. So that's really what it is that this person's coming, they're surrendering their ego, they're coming back. But are they perfect? No. Is it did they have the good intention? Yes, because they wouldn't be in a twin flame connection. They're ready to step it up into their divine masculine. Did they know what that looks like? No. But what does it do? It's going to require patience, unconditional love, courage from this person, perseverance from you and this person, because relationships are hard. All the higher levels of consciousness. That's what this relationship is on. Why? Because spirit says you both grew up in environments that didn't teach you unconditional love. You both were taught like that there was something wrong with you, to the point that, this person is still creating facades and you still have wounds, because this person couldn't have come into your life and they couldn't have affected you on such a profound level, where it bothers me how they treated me, and I'm pissed off how they treated me, and I'm stuck in angry. And God says, yeah, that's it. Like, get it out, get it out, get it out. Look at it. Now, what are you supposed to do with that? Spirit says, because if you think that that's it, okay, that's there. What do you do with it? You have to transmute that energy. And so Spirit says, hey, if you, and this is not going to be in the cards, if you wind up in a situation like this, in order to maintain this relationship balance, Spirit says the pieces of you that are undeveloped, you have to create yourself. There's pieces of you, that your identity, that you're not shame. You're not like that. Go out, find yourself. Don't give so much to this person. Remember, codependency happens when you are wounded. This person is used to those type of relationships, though they don't like those type of relationships. They run from those type. Once they make them that relationship into that, they're like, oh, I don't want this, and they run away. So what you didn't do is you were like, no, I'm not doing that. That's why this person got hooked. So Spirit's saying they will still try to manipulate you into doing that, because it's a survival mechanism of safe. I want to feel safe. So this person might throw a temper tantrum, like if you don't do it. So again, are you going to be emotionally strong enough to deal with it? These are the things that you have to say. What am I? Because the person's going to trigger you. They're going to trigger you, and you can't be like, well, it's just easier for me to cave, because the person won't respect you, and they don't. You kind of have to be you have to show, this is the marker of how you need to treat me, how I'm treating myself. This is how you need to treat yourself, because it's almost like this person doesn't know that. It's like they get into relationships and then they lose themselves in the relationship, and the relationship's all about drama and craziness, and then they recover, and then they don't want a relationship, but they want the emotional connection, so they lie, and again create the same karmic loop, the karmic cycle. And again, where they're like, I can't have it. No, it's that you need to deal with the relationship differently. This person doesn't know how. They want to learn how. So Spirit says, all right, come on down. Like all soulmates to this person, you're going to teach them how. And they're not going to like it. They're going to resist it. They're going to be like, I don't like this fucking shit. That's going to be the first thing, because you're triggering their ego. It's like making them look at them, so making them go deep, and that's what you got. It's like that's a natural reaction. And you not caring is you passing the test, because, hey, if the person made you feel bad and you would have given to this person, which happens a lot of times if you were emotionally did not get what you needed. There was a sense of, well, I feel the connection. You didn't do that. You were like, nope, I'm taking a time out. I'm going to literally keep it in limbo. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to keep it in limbo. I'm going to just not, I'm not going to be angry. I'm just going to walk away and just not give you anything. And that was the best antidote, because if you would have reacted negatively, then this person would have flipped out. And then they would be like, oh, you're controlling me. And they would have gotten in their ego. You didn't do that. You were just like, you just left or didn't say anything, didn't put up much of a fight. So they were forced to have to look at themselves. They couldn't hide behind, oh, what you did, what you didn't do. Their facades of what they wanted to perceive. No, that's not what it is. That's what you thought that it was going to be, because that's what you make it into. But you didn't do what people normally do when they're with this person, which is try to make them into what they want them to be, because that's what you sold me. You sold me a fucking Cadillac. I want a Cadillac. This isn't a Cadillac. This is a fucking donkey with 3 legs. It's like, I'm a little pissed off. It's not what I signed up for. It's like, now I'm going to make you do that. There's consequences for that. This person's like, I'm afraid of relationships. Well, you should be. If that's the way you're going to be, you're going to be dishonest. No. Yeah, this person's taking a new, literally a new life, a new way. The cycle is complete. They already learned it. It's like it's going to be the beginning of a new way. Like, it's almost like they're graduating this spiritual test. Okay, look, graduating, new life is that. It's like the cycle is completed. Why? Because they learned. Once you learn, you can't go back. But it's because you held to it. You were like, nope, I'm not giving in to whatever this shit is that you're doing. I'm not giving it in. It's like, and that's what you needed to do. Most people don't do that, that have wound up with this person. They misjudged you. I feel like they thought that you would because you were nice, you were kind, the innocence and how much time you gave them. But that's because of the connection. So then they were like, oh, I don't have to do any work because you're so crazy about me. And they had such a big ego. And that's the problem when you have a person that's all blocked up like this. They're insecure, but then they bob into like self-righteous and cocky, where if you try and reassure them. So it's almost like I reassured them and look, I made them into a monster where they treated me worse. And it's like, yeah, because it's the ego. So the best thing to do is always do exactly what you did, which is no, I'm not going to show. I'm going to back away, and I'm just gonna. When I back away, the mirror is going to come up. You're going to be forced to stare at yourself because I know you have feelings for me. I mean, you wouldn't have invested as much time, but you wanted things your way. Well, I'm not doing that. It's like, and so that's why, like, this person never thought that they were going to get hooked. Again, they believe in the impossible. I was like, let's just pull another one just for shits and giggles. And I'm like, shit, I'm telling you, this is a twin flame connection because it's like, believe in the impossible. It's like daydream. They're romantic, it's they're hopeful, magic. The relationship is magical. I mean, that's what they think. It's like I'm not no lying, and that's what a twin flame soulmate relationship is when the person is ready to step into their divine self. It's like I'm afraid, but I'm excited. It's like I'm tired of being this way. I needed to see things. I feel safe when you walked away. I feel like what you were saying is I don't give a shit if I'm with you or not. I don't have any expectations of you whatsoever. And that's why they're like, I'm ready to come back because you don't have expectations of me. You're not going to judge me. I think I said that before, but again, it dawned on me again that is really why this person's coming back. It's like so late because you're like, why? Why are they coming back? Now I don't fucking want it. Now in spirit, oh, good. See all that anger. That's what needs to be addressed within you. You're like, yeah, because of how they are. God says that you're acting like this person was an emperor or an empress. They were a page or a pagette. It's like they were not who you thought that they were. And that's the moral to the story. And because they lied for so long, they couldn't let you back in. Because how am I going to let you back in and see that the whole thing's a sham? I'm not going to do that. And Spirit says, yeah, and you can't live like this anymore either. But why they did it, it wasn't to get over. So we asked Spirit any final messages, because some of you guys will be taking this person back, some of you guys won't. You'll be like, no, I will not do it. And then Spirit says, yeah, we'll see about that too, because if they're a real twin flame, you really won't have like much of a choice. This fell out goodness, fell out onto the floor with keep it in mind. I really wanted to pull one. What the hell? It's like Spirit's like, no, we'll take this one. I keep it in mind. Listen to life. I keep it in mind. I said I'm gonna pull one. Goodness and listen to life. Goodness would be like know your goodness, like that you're here to give and receive of yourself. Know your worth. And listen to life is listen to like obviously how things go. But I feel like you do that. You are intuitive. That's how you got away from that person. Harmony. Like I like that one. It's like I open myself to the divine being within me. I am the image of God. Thus I have the power to bring light into my life. I turn my darkness in me. Turn any darkness in me into something beautiful. In the absence of resentment, anger, or doubt, I find harmony. And what do we see? We saw a lot of anger. And what Spirit's saying is maybe you need to be taught what harmony is. And harmony to me is another word for balance. Um, when we're like in tune, right? So Spirit's saying it's like you are goodness is that. It's like it's the God part of self, which is the spirit part of self, which is the divinity part of self that makes you supernatural, which when we meet our soulmate, we're like, I know who you are. When we resonate with things so deeply, and that's what it is. And Spirit's saying, I need to teach you what harmony is. You guys didn't grow up in balance. And it's about knowing that it all starts with you, that you want to become the energy of unconditional love by stepping into those higher states of consciousness, which I talked about earlier, which is what the twin flame teaches us, because it's like, oh, I have to forgive. I don't want to forgive. It's like, but I have to forgive. It's like it irritates me to forgive because this person didn't do X, Y, Z. And Spirit says, and it's surrender. It's like, I don't want to. It's Spirit says, well, stay angry then. It's like when that's what happens, you stay stuck in angry for a little bit, but eventually it's like Spirit saying, I'll wait. You could stay angry for about a few months, years, whatever it is, but eventually you'll find harmony because eventually you'll surrender. And you'll surrender to what it is. And that is by turning the darkness that's inside of you into light. And that wouldn't be done without, that person drawing out that darkness, triggering us, pissing us off, being like, why did you do it like that? Why weren't you here? Why didn't you act like this? How come it wasn't? And Spirit's saying, this is not what unconditional love is. Well, it's my unconditional love. And Spirit says, no, that's wrong. That's like, again, that's a wrong way. And it'll bring pain because you're trying to control. You're acting like that person needs to do something for you that you can't do for yourself, which is what happens when you grow up in very wounded environments and did not get the emotional support. So Spirit says, no, that's not what it is. You're like, well, I thought that it like the whole ice cream carton was a good serving for me. And Spirit says, yeah, you're out of balance because you're starving and you love it. So it's too much. And you can't go the other way either. We have to find balance. And that's by we transmute that anger and that doubt and you find harmony. But this person is to be the mirror for you and vice versa, so that you can actually draw out what needs to draw out of you and then transmute it with the passion and the love. And then again, whatever adventures that you guys do, because usually that twin has gifts and you create something and you transmute that energy into also making something, not just the passion between two, but it's both. Look at Sonny and Cher. It's like Ike and Tina, right? When they were balanced, they were great. But when they're not balanced, you see what happens. It's again, no, things need to be my way, Ike would say to Tina, and then he would get so angry, and that's what happens because the relationship can get volatile if it's not balanced. And so Spirit's saying it's like harmony. Harmony is the answer. It's a hard relationship, but it's one that helps you evolve into the best version of yourself. Now, does anyone have any questions? Anyone have any questions for me? Did you resonate with that? Hi, Annik and Svetlana and everyone. That was a reading that I was doing for my winner. I always like to ask people if they have any questions or want will answer your questions. If not, I want you guys to check out my wait list. If you sign up my wait list, again, the link will be in the description box. You'll get a free gift. I've been working on something for a really, really, really long time, and that is to help people heal the effects of trauma. And that happens within our relationships. When we want to know why our relationships look like what we just experienced within this reading, well, it's trauma. And that we can actually break karmic cycles that keep us stuck in a place of limitation, fear, anger, any lower consciousness that's derived from fear. And once you do, you really can, like I said, shape shift your reality, break karmic cycles, and teach your children and the people around you to like do the same. At this point in the stage of the game within life, we have to learn to do that, because there is a spiritual war that's happening right now. Spiritual war on consciousness, one that tries to make you think that you're not enough, don't have enough. And this isn't a side thing. This is just every time you turn on the news, every time you see what you're supposed to be able to do, supposedly. I mean, life is getting harder and harder. Things are becoming more expensive. We see what's happening in the world. But understand, Spirit said, don't let the world tell you who you are. You actually have the power to determine who you are. But if you're all blocked up with spiritual blocks, then you're not going to be able to create the life that you want. But you can. You have to integrate the spiritual lessons. And that is how you transcend the limitations of your ego. The ego is just the part of self that we create for survival, our emotional survival. But if it runs the show, it'll sabotage our life. It'll sabotage everything, really. It's like we don't want to come from that lower state, because the more that you feed the ego, the more that it wants, right? And we've seen that in our own relationships. When you get into a relationship with a karmic, the more that you give, the more that they expect, the more that they want. It like never ends, because you can't heal someone else. You can only heal yourself. So again, if you're interested, definitely sign up for my wait list. You'll get a free gift, and it's free to do so. Until next time, be true to you. I'm going to sign off, because we have a hurricane going on, and I keep hearing things outside like banging, and like literally I heard a thunk before, and already something hit my husband's car. So there's a huge dent in it. So I can only imagine what that is outside. So I want to just kind of take a peek. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.